We're
We're
laundry.
We are
Come on.
Hello, hi. I'm Mayur Bomai.
Hi, I'm Ruxandra Lika.
Hi, and I'm Dejan Dimitrov.
Hey guys, welcome to the first episode of Laundryheap Unfolded, and welcome to Bangalore. How's it been so far for both of you?
Thank you for having us, Mayur. It's been great. It's always such a pleasure to meet the team that's working behind the scenes to make Laundryheap possible. I love it here. I love everything about India, so I'm having fun. What about you?
Yeah, definitely. Coming to Bangalore is always an exciting experience. And I think it's very valuable, right? Like we are as an organization, we're in so many different markets. This year we opened our 14th market and we have people everywhere. But kind of bringing many people here together, having FaceTime, I think it's important.
Yeah, and we do have the largest team in India, so I think having that FaceTime is super important. And I'm happy you guys are here. I'm going to ask the question first to you, Rux.
Oh, okay.
If you could describe Laundryheap's 11-year journey in one word, what would it be?
For me, the best word would be transformative. I think we always strive to improve and to get better. We always optimize processes. We always, strive for providing a better customer experience.
For you, Mayur, what is it?
I think for me, it's exhilarating, right?
Wow.
Because Laundryheap, I think it has its in its DNA from the start. How we've adapted, we have progressed, we have quickly changed things for the better of the company. So I think exhilarating is really because we are in so many countries, so many cultures, so many different experiences, being on the ground, moving from one place to the other. And what about you, Dan?
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I think for me it would be relentless. I think it would be a good word to describe our journey. As a startup, you never know what to expect the next day. But I think, we just roll our sleeves and do the work. And, we always embrace the challenges that we see for
Absolutely,
us. So I think for me, this is it, this ability to know that things are gonna, get better tomorrow and to see the progress. For me, it's what has shaped our journey.
Yeah, so I think going back to the early days, right? Because, we three have been working on this, let's say the Laundryheap project for so long, we're getting old also together.
We are.
Do you have any sort of memory, on the first orders of Laundryheap, one or two stories which happened in the early days?
In the very beginning, remember when we were together sitting at the first WeWork in London and we got our first order, right? And this sort of validation, because obviously we knew that, the service would be valuable to customers, but it's never confirmed until you get your first order, right? Yeah. So this excitement that we got after we got it, for me, it was very exciting. And then also to make sure that what was in our minds actually transforms to the customer journey and the experience the customer gets. For me, it was very important from the beginning.
I vividly remember that moment. Dan's on his laptop and, we're doing all this marketing, and he got the first order, right? And it was a very basic dashboard. So he was probably refreshing it 100 times.
All the time.
And then the first order
face,
came,
no?
and then he just puts his hand up like that, like a high five.
We
right?
have it.
And so I wasn't sure, what is it for? Did he solve something in this code or was it, and then we got a first order, right? I think that was the eureka moment, right? Because it's that validation that somebody wants the service.
Oh, it's completely insane because actually if you now we're doing millions of orders every year.
Yeah.
And in the very beginning, do you remember we were receiving SMS with every order,
exactly,
right? Because we were so excited, we didn't want to miss any of the orders. And there were so few, of course, on day one.
Yeah. Looks what was your first experience?
It was definitely interesting.
Yeah.
I joined you guys after a few months, I think, since you started. So you were still at a very early stage. You were doing probably a few orders a month. So something, like inception. I had a meeting with Dejan.
Yeah.
I don't remember what role I applied for. It was, I responded to an ad. I think it was something like project management or something similar. And it actually,
We were also not sure what
exactly. It shows that you wanted someone to do everything, basically. So it was actually interesting. I met Dejan and I remember meeting in a coffee place.
Yeah.
And we had a talk. He was telling me, excited about his idea and
the big vision.
The big vision he had for Laundryheap. And then, he showed me the website and we started talking. And quickly I pointed out so many things that are wrong about his idea. Not wrong necessarily, but that, like would require improvement if, like if the business, like for the business to grow.
When it was just two of us, obviously we were bouncing back ideas with each other, but when you have third person come in and challenging us on certain things, which we never had a perspective on many things, especially on the customer front side, right? Because we like Jan's the coder, and he's kind of building and he's doing the marketing and he's also doing support. I was more operational, getting things running on the ground, but we never had this perspective from the customer side very strongly, right? I think completed the circle between three of us in the early days, while helped us to build the team ahead, right? So
absolutely.
And I would just add, I think it was working really well for us because we were all three of us were very pragmatic, right? Like none of us is kind of this bullshit sort of ideas.
Yeah.
And I think this is the reason why you thought, okay, it's a good service, it would work. If I'm behind it, there is no chance that it's not gonna work out in the end. So I think because three of us were like very pragmatic about it and the way we want to execute it, I think we managed to align very quickly. And then each of us brought our own perspective, right, with our own qualities. And I mean, we wouldn't always agree, right? But we will always express our opinion.
We still don't.
And
we still don't, but that's the good thing. You need a mix of, like different skills, different personality to make it work.
Exactly.
And I think ultimately, if we are all in it for the same goal, we have the, like one goal.
The objective is similar.
The objective has to be the same. And then, of course, we all will bring our best to the table.
Yeah,
so I think we made it work, guys.
Awesome. What actually made you think, okay, this is going to become big? I think you did touch upon it.
But
there's a moment, like, obviously when you met and, you saw the belief in us and then something, but I think there's going to be that moment, like.
Yeah, again, I think I knew from the start that it's going to become big. I didn't know how quickly.
Yeah.
So I think that's one thing I didn't realize. Maybe for me, like the confirmation that this will actually work out as I imagined was maybe when we started in Dubai and I saw like things can work out and operations are stable and like of course we keep learning every time. We're still learning today.
Yeah.
But I think when we went there and I saw that everything can work out, I think for me it was okay. If it works there, it will work everywhere.
Yeah.
Because it was such a different market, like from London, like to Dubai. I think that was my moment. Yeah. Do you have any like?
No, I think next is for Dian. Like obviously, like for him, he had to believe it from the start. Otherwise, we wouldn't have grown. But yeah, like when you thought about the idea, you registered the company. I know there's a lot of background work before you met me and Brooks, right? So I think you would have believed in the idea. But I think when do you think, okay, like this is going to be.
Of course, you always have doubts, right, in everything that you do. But I think it really helps, and I think it applies to any entrepreneur that you need to be quite naive, right? Because if you have all the information that you need, you will never start this thing, right? And you'll probably not start anything. So, you should always kind of believe in yourself and your abilities. You know that there will be challenges, but you're going to solve them. This naivety that is going to be kind of easier than you think it's going to be. And almost like if you know a lot about the topic, you realize all the challenges. But because I didn't know that much on this topic, but I knew, okay, I'll put my work behind it, and if I build a great team, I think we'll solve all the challenges. So I think this was my belief. I didn't know what I'm getting into, and 10 years later, we're still solving a lot of problems. So I think it's an endless process. But I think as an entrepreneur, the key is to have this belief, to know that things are going to improve. And actually, like I was recently checking, I asked ChatGPT kind of what is the chance that a company gets to the stage we are, right? And then it gave me a number of examples, and I was really shocked by the answer actually, because like ChatGPT said that only 10% of the startups get to 10-year journey, right? Which is already, it's not easy to get there. And then in terms of like revenue, for example, like to get to $20 million a year, it's only 1% to 2% of the startups.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and then like getting to 10 countries is even more like unique. So it's only 1 in 1,000 startups gets to 10 countries.
Wow.
So like having kind of everything combined, it's really impressive. Like this is not just a reflection of our work, but I think it just shows how unlikely for a startup to succeed is, right? So if we knew all this information, and if I had told you all of this from the beginning, you guys would have been, okay, I'm out of here right away.
No, I
So,
agree.
Yeah, no, but I think for me, when I knew there is going to be success in the company is, especially in the early days, right? Because I'm still getting to know, Diane as a person, and I'm sure you were getting to know me as a person. But when we started doing more orders and then we needed a bit more orders to get revenue, like you quickly came up with the idea, let's think of linen rental, right? But I think that kind of culture and relentlessness was set from the start. So I knew whatever we have to do, I think there's always a second solution, and that mentality and thinking got me to feel that yes, we're going to make it big, because we're going to always find a second solution, a third solution if one thing is not working. Yeah, that's my feeling, like from the early days, because you can say as an idea it can become big, but it's ideas, everyone can have ideas, right? Like 1,000 people can have ideas, but I think the execution and the way you execute it is how it makes difference.
I think a lot of people are putting barriers in front of themselves, right? They're going to be, okay, I'm going to be a London company, right? And then like getting outside of London is not possible. You need to have a large team or anything like that. I think for us, these barriers are probably not as strict as for other people.
Yeah.
And I don't know, for myself, because I guess an interesting fact is that the first time I went outside of my country was when I was 18 years old, right? So I never traveled until 18, and then I almost like overcompensating it until, for the next 10 years, I went to another 40, 50 countries, right? So I think this, which made me fearless for expanding, and I think this was part of our journey. Very quickly we expanded, and so often I get asked by, investors or stakeholders in general. They ask like, why did you go to so many countries? But why wouldn't we go, right? And it's always this why not mentality that we have in Laundryheap. When somebody comes with an idea, we always ask, why not?
Yeah.
Right? Why not? And if there is no good answer, then we just go and do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that's set in stone now, so we're doing it. But just moving from the early day story, I think, touching upon the expansion around the world. Obviously, we are right now. I keep forgetting sometimes the number of countries. It's 14, I believe, but it'll change very quickly.
Yes.
It'll change very quickly in the next month, I know. But pointing the question to you, Rooks, if you have to kind of think of when we start expanding, because we are a London-born company, right? And then we decided to do Dubai, and then obviously 14 countries now. What is a culture nuance, or let's say culture shock? You saw, because you were facing the customers probably on the first level. So what was that like?
Yeah, you just reminded me how in the beginning we were doing everything, So when you say like you are facing the customers, like first line, like I was doing that, and I was doing everything else as well. But yeah, like to answer your question, I don't think I had cultural shocks. I think like I was expecting that different markets will be different. People have different habits, different ways of doing things. So I don't think I had shocks. Of course, we will, from any market and from every country we went to, we learned something. But yeah, like no shocks. I think the expectations of people differ from country to country.
Yeah.
I think some markets where, like laundry is more common, like to be outsourced, is where people have higher expectations. In other markets that, like are not as, where laundry is not as popular, people just try it for the first time and they get hooked to it. So it's nice to see that, like stickiness. Yeah. So yeah, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's a fair thing. And then, like, what's your kind of cultural nuances? And one is on the service, but also I think touch upon teams and people, right? Because we are such a large global company, and we are.
Yeah, no, for me, it's not looking at the differences. I'm always trying to see what's the commonality, right, in everyone. And that's something that we see for laundry, which is such a basic service for customers around the world. Everyone has the same problems, whether it's here in Bangalore where we're doing this conversation today, or New York, London, Singapore, any of our markets. I think everyone needs to do laundry at the end of the day, right? And people have been doing it for thousands of years. So it's the same. I think we try to apply the same attitude. Like, what is the commonality? Like, our customers need the service. They have the same expectations. They need it quickly. They need it done the right way. They want to be seamless. They want the technology to work. And in terms of team, I think, people have the same aspirations around the world. They want to feel part of like a common goal. They want to be understood. They want to be heard. And I think this is what we're trying to do with Laundryheap. So even though we sit in different places and we have teams from all the way in Latam, in Peru, to here to India and Singapore and in Europe, so many different teams, we still have the same systems in place, and we try to keep as open doors as possible. Like anyone can talk to anyone. We don't build these barriers. So for me, it's I always try to focus on what's the common and what's the difference. Of course, there's small. There are difference every country. So you have the currency, you have the language, you have the cultural differences in the way people do laundry. You even have naming conventions that are very different, and
correct,
we often surprise.
If I can add one thing to what Dan said, because he said everything so well. For us at Laundryheap, no matter in how many countries we are and which are these countries, I think our mission is to provide the same service level to everyone. Yep. So as he said, everybody does laundry or needs, like a laundry service. And for us, it's important to provide the same quality everywhere.
Yep.
So even though there are like nuances or subtle differences between these places, we want to maintain the same convenience everywhere and, like speed, quality, consistency.
Yeah.
So I think
absolutely.
Ultimately it's about that, overcoming these nuances and making sure the service level stays.
And I think the beauty is with Laundryheap as a technology company, right? Because we can solve these problems more quickly, and I think we can also close the cultural gaps if there is any. And I like the way you say it, because we don't see it as differences, but we see it as commonality, which I think is half glass full, or when you look at that perspective of half glass empty, right? So on a level of services, I think one of the nuances or differences we see is the turnaround experiences, and our goal has always been doing 24 hours and the quick turnaround. That's how we broke the London market, because nobody was doing it as a standard. Even 2-3 days dry cleaning was common, and we broke that there. And as we went to more countries, I think one thing we understood is some countries, they have that, but the tech is not there, which Laundryheap is solving, like let's say in Dubai. But I think in places like Singapore, it was even crazier. People were waiting for a week to get a laundry back, right? Or a dry cleaning back. I think that was like a maybe cultural nuance and specific to laundry, not as people or language, which we saw. And I think that solving actually is helping us to bring a great service to a country. And we will probably be doing that in discovering it every country we go to. We are just at 14 countries now, and we'll be going much ahead, right? So that's my perspective of differences, but what we're solving as a technology company.
Yeah, because for us, we don't take the status quo as granted, right? And I think one test I like to apply many times is, how children, when you explain something to them, they ask, but why? And then you say it, but but why? So I think it goes, like there's a saying that you need to go 6 times to answer the question, because every time you get a different answer, and only then you get to the bottom of it. So I think the example you gave in Singapore, like when we went there, we said, okay, we need to do it in 24 hours because we believe people in Singapore have the same desire of people anywhere else. And then we were told, no, it's so complicated, like it takes 1 week. And then once you ask 6 times why, you get to really the bottom of the problem. And then sometimes it's something that can be really solved. And I believe the technology can solve, most of the problems that, we have. So I think asking that and getting to the bottom of it and really understanding what is preventing us to get to that stage is important.
And I just want to add one more thing. I think what's important, you said we always try to do it better, to do it faster, to push ourselves. And ultimately, we're doing it all for our customers. No matter if our customers are in London or in Singapore, they all need the service quicker. They all need that quality. They all need that consistency. So ultimately, it's about that, ensuring our customers get the best service.
Absolutely, yeah, and you're on top of that.
Yeah, I mean, I hope I am.
Thank you for always reminding us that. No, this is true, because we all come from our, I think often our discussions are very, very useful because we come from different perspectives, and people say, well, if we're faster, then driver cost increases, and then something else is going to break somewhere else, so we need to hire another person and so on. But I think putting the customer in the center of the whole conversation at all times, I think that's really important. So we always need that input.
Yeah,
I'm
which I
always
think
happy
is
to provide it.
yes, absolutely. Yeah, I think we completely agree. I guess because we talked about the cultural commonalities. Let me put it that way, as Dan said, than differences. But going on to more of our markets, right? Market specific. Obviously, we are London startup, London scale up, and but now we are scaling up in most of the other countries. If you have to take cultural, not cultural nuances, sorry, like in terms of actually talking about the market, let's say we take the Middle East, what's kind of the things that are happening there, and or let's say the Asia Pacific market, right? Overall, what's kind of the things that are happening there, and how do you think we could uh, get the service even much more higher?
I think we're in a really unique position, and actually, so I mean, on one hand, that's a weakness that we are, split across so many different markets. But I think it's really the strength. And what I meant earlier about our chances of success and being in so many different markets, I think that's actually like the positive thing. And always I try to iterate it to our people. Like when we do sales, for example, because we're in so many markets, we have this potential to, for example, to partner with some global brands.
Yeah.
We have the potential to have stronger operations. We have all these learnings. Like very often we have these calls with people that sit in different parts of the world, right? And they all give different perspectives. So I think for me, this adds a lot of value. And as a company, this was what makes us very valuable as well. Like the way we operate and the fact that we have really strong operations, but global operations. And that's really unique.
Yeah.
I mean, we kind of take it for granted. And even when we launch a new city, like we don't make a big fuss of it. And some companies, they make a massive fuss of something like really small. And for us, it's just, like just one more tap in the Excel spreadsheet and then we're done, right? It's crazy. I really like this attitude in our team. And we only celebrate once it's actually done, not just making big fuss of things before they happen.
Yeah.
And we don't celebrate for too long. We just move to the next step in our.
I wish actually that I think this is something that we can definitely improve. We can talk more about the things we do. So that's why I really like we have this like setup now, and it's our chance to actually communicate more.
Yep.
Also internally, I mean I think everyone is still aligned, but I think there is never too much communication.
Yeah.
Right.
And maybe since Laundryheap is solving a lot of problems, I think, right? I think it's in our core to be problem solvers.
Exactly, yes.
Right, because we've come in as a tech company and seeing all the gaps in the whole laundry industry, especially the consumer facing, right? And now, as Jan said, we're doing a lot of B2B and trying to solve problems separately for them. Technology-wise, I think it's good to talk about how Laundryheap kind of built itself as a tech giant in the laundry and dry cleaning space. And I do think we are a big tech giant because we are solving problems not on the customer-facing side, not problems, let's say, we make it easy for the on the customer-facing side in terms of booking, ease of understanding how the service works, pricing, transparency, charging. And then on the cleaning partner side, we have another tech we are solving, which is to ensure that they are recording, QR tagging, transparency, record in the back
But
end.
it wasn't always like that.
It wasn't always like that.
I think that it will be interesting to speak about how we actually started and how we arrived to that stage. And I think, of course, in the early days, we had nothing. We had a piece of paper. We were doing everything manually. I remember our first facility in London, like they used to send us a picture on WhatsApp of what they itemized for that one order that we had, so we can actually make sure that we invoice the customer correctly. So we went from that, like a few years of struggling in that sense until we got to our first spreadsheet, our operation spreadsheet that has been with us for a few years, until we actually had the chance to invest in our product. And during the first years, we learned a lot about what can go wrong. And we always wanted to control the journey and to make sure that experience for the customer is always, it gets better and better every time, because that ultimately that is what will push us to grow. And then, yes, we created an app for our partners so they can, so we can have more control about what's happening. They can scan the bags, they can quickly itemize whatever is in the bags. They can raise problems that reach the customer directly, like if there's an item damage, for example. The customer will get a notification. They can, confirm processing, or we're always keeping customers informed. And it also eases the things for facilities as well, because everything is documented, everything is structured. And
can you tell us a little bit more on the tech which we have gotten that's solving, part of the large problems, right? Because we are tracking all this by data, and you're kind of seeing those numbers go down as problems. And you've been the key person to build the partner facility app, which we call Station internally. Can you tell us the main problems we have solved over the years?
I mean, we're still solving problems, but I think, as I said, we notice pretty quickly how things can go wrong, especially when you work with third parties. And we wanted to be able to track orders at every stage. So during this time, yes, we reduced, like a lot of problems. We eliminated, like some of them. We reduced, the common complaints that you get in this industry, like damages or like, the missing socks that I think it's common, like for everyone, even you guys, if you do laundry at home, you sometimes might not find a pair of that socks.
Damage approvals,
like we solved like lots of issues, and our customers are happier every time.
Service mismatch,
I think we always do it for the customers. And like whenever we have a concern or whenever we have a question about an order, we want to make sure that we we follow what the customer wants. So this is where like tech has helped us.
And what excites you on the customer? I mean, I think this is on the processing side. On the customer-facing side, I mean, I don't want to use the word AI very loosely, but there's a lot happening in that front, right? So what excites you the most on solving customer problems in the next few years, right? Because we'll be trying to make this experience much better, much more seamless, and much more flawless.
I think on the customer side, again, like we've always tried to optimize processes and everything to make sure that customer experience is great. So on the customer side, we've put a lot of work into tech, and we automated the most common issues our customers have, the most common queries. And this also decreased the workload of our team, so they can actually focus on situations that require a bit more investigation or a bit more, like empathy. So our customers can, can go on the app, and if they have an invoice concern or if they have, like a common question, they can go on the app and they get a response automatically or a resolution, depending on what's the issue. And I think that has helped reducing the response time a lot, because now instead of waiting for somebody in support to speak to you, to look in the back office, to do like admin tasks, now you can have that response and that resolution immediately. And I think that has helped like massively with customer satisfaction. And things like this, like we've always tried to improve ourselves, and we've always questioned, like what can we do more? What can we do better? How can we be faster without damaging the quality level? And
absolutely.
I mean, I could speak about this forever. But
which I think is great. I think you touched upon these points nicely. Ultimately, it's for us to measure it as metrics, and we're seeing these numbers going down. And as a tech company, this is what we solve, right? Then pointing the question to you, I think you work a lot on the customer journey, right? And how we're trying to make the customer journey more easier as the years progress, right? I mean, even from the beginning, I think we always want to keep it simple, 2 or 3 clicks, book, and you get it collected from your door. I think we have kept that ethos, but we also want to make it more easier for customers to understand the service and book. So can you kind of touch upon on the tech we are building, testing we're doing to see how Laundryheap customers are getting value out of this?
Yeah, definitely. I think in terms of technology, it's always important to start scrappy, in a scrappy way. I think that's really the key, because I've often see this mistake that people do. They have this very strong belief as what the customer wants, right? And then you go into technology and you spend so much time. And there is this saying in tech that if you're not ashamed of your first product, then you've launched too late, right? And I think this is really the key. So that's the reason why we started with all these like spreadsheets. And I think any process should start with a spreadsheet, in my opinion, and only then start building once you realize what you actually need to have on that spreadsheet. And what you end up having in the end is really very often have nothing to do with what you started with. So I think this is the process. I think it's absolutely natural. So the way we do things, and we still do it this way, right? Like we still try to do like fake doors in different places, try to A/B test, ABCD test even sometimes, like the customer journey. because we don't know, right? We assume a lot of things, we listen to customer feedback, but at the end of the day, the verification is when the customer places yet another order, right? I think this is the ultimate test. Have we done something right? Because it's easy to, like overpromise, convince somebody to use your service once. But Laundryheap is not about single use, right? It's a habit-forming service, and that's what we want our customers to do. So you can improve a lot. You can focus a lot on the consumer. For me, it's actually technology should not be in the way of our customers. I think it should be almost seamless. Like to me, people should not be obsessed with our app, right? Like if you're a social media app, you want people to spend as much time there. I think for me, I want people to spend as little time on our app, because then we've done our job right. So it needs to be as easy as possible. You go almost automated, one time only, you never open the app again, and then the service comes every week. It should be like automagical, I like to call it. Yeah. So for me, this is the end goal. Of course, there is a process to get there. There is education of our customers, but it's never ending. I mean, even big companies are always learning something new about their customer and changing the user experience. Yeah. And of course, we're already a large company as well, but we want to be even bigger. So it's a process.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and both your perspectives. I think for me, on the because there are three aspects of the tech we are building, right? One is on the customer facing side, and one is on the cleaning partner side, and also the support side of support function. And then we have another layer, which is the logistics and the driver functions, right? And a large part of the business, or like what we when we started, we were trying to solve was the last mile. Ultimately, if you're not doing the work properly for the last mile, I think then the solution is completely incomplete, because you can do the best of cleaning, you can do the best of customer journey, but I think that's something which is very important to solve. What excites me is that as a service, we are very unique. It's not like food delivery, or it's not like Amazon parcel delivery where you just fix a route and then parcels are delivered like 120 parcels. With food delivery, it's like you have a set of riders where they go to restaurants and then drop, and then that service kind of completes. With us, why it's unique is because these drivers are en route, and they're also doing on-demand collections while they're doing deliveries, right? So it's a big challenge and a separate system to solve that nobody else is solving, and that's what we are trying to do. And we have solved a large part of it, right? Because there's a lot of estimations, forecasting, and trying to see how to get this customers picked up on time, the orders picked up on time in the right way, and also delivered back in the right way. So ultimately, I think that tech layer is also super critical for Laundryheap as we progress to make the customer journey complete. Right?
Yeah, no, I really appreciate that you said that, because I think what many people don't realize that what people see is just really the tip of the iceberg, right? Because our customers really just use the consumer app, so it's the very top, where we actually spend the like very small proportion of our product time. Because to make that part shine and to make the customer experience from end to end work as seamlessly as possible, it requires the product to work everywhere. And then we need to build this like base of the pyramid very strongly. And this is all this other technology that we spend a lot of time on building to make the top work. I think this is a key point, because we often try to think like which part do we prioritize in technology. Yeah. But actually, you do need these building blocks in order to make that the whole structure works. Make sure the whole structure works well.
Yeah. No, awesome. Yeah, I think the tech completion is super important for the company, and I'm so excited for the next few years. There's so many things in the pipeline, and we're building so much.
So many things we can still improve on.
So, which we all know, and that's what keeps it exciting. So I just want to make it a little bit more fun. Like, what's your typical day in Laundryheap? Like, how do you kind of start your day and then you kind of progress through the day?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I do travel a lot, so it's very different. And this is always a challenge to balance this kind of like weekly routine schedule. And then when you're visiting, for example, when I'm in India, I'm always kind of disappointed at the end of the week that I didn't spend enough time working with the people and still worked on my calls. But it's this balance, right, between like making sure that you have this structured approach where you have your regular calls, and all of us we have them often enough to make sure that we are still on the same page and the rest of the team is on the same page, but at the same time leaving space for yourself to really do the work that you require, and then at the end of the day, have a break, right? Because we're in this journey in the long term. And very, like in the beginning you can sprint, but then at one point you realize it's a marathon, right? So you really need to take care of yourself, of your time, and really focus on the right things. So I don't have kind of like I'm not gonna go into this kind of what like Tim Cook does, wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and makes coffee 5:50. It's I think for me every day is different, but I think I'm curious to hear about you guys, but I think this is what makes us very strong, because we're very flexible in terms of the work required. We're not this rigid sort of people and process where, well, now it's 5 o'clock, I need to go home, and now it's my day for the calls, and that's why I'm not going to work on a very important project.
I mean, very similar to what he mentioned, except I don't travel a lot. So for me, the fact that I'm in India now is a big thing. I'm London-based, and we're working remotely in London. So I'm working from my own office at home, which makes it very quiet. I can be productive. I don't have distractions. Like for me, it's I'm in my zone. But yeah, like Dejan said, I think ultimately it's about how you structure your day in order to be as efficient as possible. There is a tendency, to have many calls, as we said, we have a few to keep us aligned and so on, but there are many things happening, especially when you manage remote teams. I think this is one thing that we haven't touched upon now, but having people working with us in India and in Dubai and Paris, and so in all so many places require a level of communication, and that's why you have calls. You need to be there for them, no matter the time of the day. As he said, you don't stop at 5. At least we don't stop at 5. If somebody in LATAM needs something, there is a time difference, so we have to be there for them. Otherwise, things won't progress. You need to be able to help the team overcome the difficulties, and or help them in any way. So yeah, I think there needs to be a balance. You need to think about your health as well.
Yeah.
But ultimately, if you're able to structure your day to be available for everyone, I think that really keeps the game.
Absolutely. Going. I think one is the structure way, but I think we're also, let's say, blessed or privileged that there's a strong team, which is doing so many things, so many functions, and especially the last couple of years, we have also gotten so many leadership team members into the company, pushing things in different directions, and all those things are coming into fruit, right? So if you look at the structure of the day, it's evolved probably for all of us. Initially, we would be just doing a very operational, rudimental things, and as much as even the basics of stuff, because nobody else was there to do. Then it evolved with more team members coming in, but there's still things need to be checked, and because we were not. But now I think we are in that stage where I think more than actually doing stuff, it's giving directions, checking data points, and making sure it's in harmony, things are working in harmony. Exactly. That's more, I believe, like our jobs have evolved over a period of the last 11 years. And I think, structure to the day, I think for us, because we work in different time zones, it's always a challenge, especially when you're traveling, you're one other time zone, like let's say you're in Singapore and then you're there for a week or so, and let's say in the US, it becomes a very challenge. But I think that's also the good part about our service, that we have team members everywhere. The challenge is to actually be engaged with these people as much as possible. But I think we have found our rhythm somehow,
we have, and we are lucky to have great people. Yeah. We have great team members, as you said, our jobs have evolved. Yeah. They don't need hand-holding, they need direction, and that's enough for them to make things happen. So I think we're blessed to have that, and some of these people have been with us for years. So I think recently we saw we have a few people with us for 7 years now. So that says a lot, and it means
actually quite a few people.
Quite a few people, and we're lucky to have them, and they've been pushing alongside us for to make Laundryheap the best service.
The next one question is how often do you do your laundry?
Oh, what should I say? Should I say the truth? How often I do it? Well, I have a husband and a 6-year-old that's always
generating a lot of laundry.
Generating a lot of laundry. So I would say more often than I like. Yeah, like let's say a few times a week.
Okay.
A few times a week.
And
Is
what
that
about you, Diane?
Yeah, this is
satisfying?
this is always like a kind of like a fun question because I live in Switzerland where
Yeah.
Laundryheap is not yet present. So very early in this journey, I made this agreement with my wife that I will do any other chore at home, but not laundry. And I mean, the reason for that is like, that will be really like soul crushing that I'm responsible for hundreds of thousands of orders, every month and millions of orders a year. And then, after work, go downstairs and do my own laundry. So yeah, unfortunately, but I really look forward to us expanding to Switzerland so that I can actually use. However, I'm using our service all the time when I'm traveling. So this is really a blessing for me, and I really feel I'm really missing it when I go to a country where we're not yet present. Because it really allows you to travel light. You can rely on it. Like you can give your things for washing. Now we have our overnight service, which allows you to get your items in a service 8 hours. So this is a great. Yeah, this is a great thing, and I so often need it, like because I just kind of forget to book the service, even myself, and then I can just do it by midnight and get it back by 8 o'clock in the morning, which is a great help.
Yeah, no, I mean, I think like I can relate. I wish Laundryheap is not in India, so
not yet.
Not yet, yeah, not yet in India. Yeah.
Lucky
Thanks
for
for
me to be in London,
and
like I can
time.
use the service all the time, and not only I think besides the convenience and how it solves my problem, I get to experience firsthand what our customers experience,
Absolutely.
and it teaches me so much. Even after 11 years, I can still find things to work on and improve on, and I think that's like operationally that's magic.
That's because we're all problem solvers.
Everybody should use their service. It's
and we're very active at incentivizing our employees to use it as well, because I think like the people that are solving the problem should actually experience the problem themselves. I think that's really critical. Otherwise, it's just like one more row in the spreadsheet of things that you need to do.
No, I think one strong point you touched upon is traveling light, right? Because nowadays with low-cost airlines and everyone's so picky about the weight of the bags, this is a great boon in terms of actually traveling light, because if you can get your stuff back overnight, instead of carrying 10 shirts or 5 shirts, you can carry half of that, right? And because you can rely on a service like Laundryheap in 14 countries. So these are 14 countries which a lot of people travel to for business, pleasure, and I think it's a key part of the service. And I think for me as well, like I spend a lot of my time in India, but also in Dubai. And when I'm there, I'm using Laundryheap service all the time. Especially the overnight, I think is like it's so magical. Like once you experience it, I think then the magic comes alive.
Especially in Dubai, because you just leave it outside, and then the laundry ferry comes in,
does it, and then
in the morning, have it in the morning.
For you,
it's actually magical. Like I'm not joking. Like I book it. Before I sleep, I would leave my laundry bag outside, and then I would wake up in the morning, and the driver's already delivered my laundry, right? And even before I have my breakfast. So I have my clothes ready, then and you put in your wardrobe, and it's so magically there, all nicely ironed and kept, right? So I think this is the magic which we're delivering, and I'm the millions of customers using Laundryheap, right? So it's
and this is our aim as well. I mean, this was to me from the beginning. I see it as a utility, right? Like the same way that you can rely that when you land into a new city, that you can possibly book Uber from your airport. And you're strongly disappointed if you cannot. At least that's how I feel, right? The same way I feel about Laundryheap. And that's part of our mission, why we want to be in so many markets. We want you to rely that no matter where you are, you can experience the same consistent, reliable service that we deliver. And ultimately want you to be hugely disappointed when we're not there, right? And this is what we need to do in the next years to make sure that we're in as many places as our customers are. But it's the key that people shouldn't think about it too much. But anytime they think about it, it should be there to help them.
And I just want to add one thing to what he said, and he pointed out very well. Like it's not necessarily about the speed; it's also about being consistent. Across all these countries we are in, keeping that quality there. So I think this is one of the challenges that like a lot of companies have, and including us. To maintain that quality at scale, I think it's easy to be quick, but are you good enough.
Yeah.
And I think for Laundryheap has been good enough to be in 14 countries so far.
Yeah.
But I think there's so much more we can do in the next future. So we can open our service even to more customers.
I think ultimately Laundryheap experience is if you use it in Singapore, New York, Dubai, Paris, London.
Has to be the same. Has to be great.
All the other
and
25
great.
cities, which I couldn't name. The experience has to be the same.
It has to be the same. It has to be the same, the quality.
And we're getting all this feedback from customers as well that they use our service, and it's always, I mean, for me, it's the greatest motivator.
Yeah.
Because of course, I mean, in the early days, I was so disappointed because I was doing customer support myself. I was so disappointed, after a week of work, then I will go and like respond to a customer, and they'll say their order is late, for example. I was really disappointed because you spend so much energy in trying to do your best job, and then driver is 10 minutes late, right? And then you're, come on, like we this is not our promise, so we need to deliver on time, for example, which for me is very important. And now so many years later, of course, the service is great and people have consistent service, but it's still this kind of the no's that we get from somebody, like somebody to go out of their way and to send us a message, to leave a review online on Google, Trustpilot, etc., to take some of their time to write down how Laundryheap helped them, and we get many of these reviews every day. That's, I think, it's motivator for me, but also for our team, because we should be reading the good reviews as well.
And I think, again, to add what he said, I think it's important for our customers to know that we really care about what they have to say, no matter if it's good or bad, or constructive, because nothing is bad. I think we listen to them. We care about their experience. We want them to have a seamless experience. So yeah, they have to know, we do care, we do listen.
Yeah.
And everything they say touches upon us, and we always, remember my word, transformative. We always strive to do better and to get better every day for them.
You concluded very well, because actually that was my next question. What do you want customers to know? But you already said that. I think ultimately that's true.
We care.
We care. Yeah. And what we're solving, I think we are solving a real life problem. And I think, to kind of, conclude on this conversation, I think, what's the tagline, Dan? I think I'm going to give you the tagline, Laundryless.
No, I think
Live more, laundry less.
More is the time.
Live more, laundry less.
Live more, laundry less. Yeah.
No, but I think this is the having this kind of unified experience. I think it's really the key, no matter where you use it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great chatting, guys. I think we did a great conversation around from the start.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think it was good. It was good.
And I hope you guys enjoyed this conversation. I did enjoy myself. So
we should do it more often.
Thank you, Mayu, for putting us on the spot.
Yeah. And I hope the team, whenever you're listening to this, if you listen to the whole episode, I hope you guys enjoyed it as well. And we're hopefully going to have more episodes after this for Laundryheap Unfolded. Thank you very much.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.